What's up, everybody? I'm Marcus.
I'm Ryan.
And together we are the
Northwest Sports Fanatics.
Today we just want to touch on the NBA Finals going on right now, the Heat versus the Spurs. The series is tied at 2-2. Game 5 will be Sunday in San Antonio. Now, Ryan, what is your take on some of the things the Heat did well in Game 4 to get that victory?
I think LeBron James, he silenced the critics for one game. I mean, everyone was really on him, in the whole entire globe, kind of criticizing him when he's going to show up. He had a great game, 33 points, 11 boards, 4 assists. But I think the real story, and you might agree with me or not, Dwayne Wade. He kind of reminded me of that 2006 Finals Dwayne Wade, Flash Wade. He had the great game, 32 points, 6 rebounds. But the main thing was the 6 steals. Real impressive. I didn't think that he'd really come out that way. Very impressive, and I was really shocked that he played that well going into that game. What about you?
Yeah, to me, LeBron came out more aggressive. His first 3 shots made was all layups. We expect that from the 4-time MVP and the best player on the planet. Dwayne Wade did come up big. The most impressive for me was the 6 steals. He didn't play like Dwayne Wade. He played like Flash out there. And also, can't forget about the forgotten man, Chris Bosh. He had a double-double, 20 points, 13 assists. Ray Allen also chipped in 14 points off the bench. To me, the Heat, they attacked and they played that aggressive championship defense that we know they can get. They also got out in transition and got themselves some easy buckets. Another thing I want to make note of is the great adjustment by Coach Spo to put Mike Miller in the starting lineup to spread the floor, to give them more lanes for LeBron and D-Wade to attack there. Now, what are some of the things that the Spurs did in the Game 4?
Oh, I think Tim Duncan, played pretty good. He had 20 points, 5 rebounds. He had a good game, but we haven't really seen that signature game, that game that makes you remember years from now how good he played, that 25 and 15 rebound game. We haven't really seen that. So I'm thinking if we can get that game in Game 5, that might be the difference between them winning or losing the championship as we move forward as the series goes into Miami. What do you think?
Now, Danny Green and Gary Neal have carried the Spurs so far. They stay hot from 3-point range. Tony Parker, he also fooled everybody with the strained hammy. He did have 15 points, 9 assists, but he didn't score after halftime. And also the Heat athleticism and defensive pressure got to the Spurs. They did end up with 18 turnovers that game.
Yeah, and I think another key thing that it mentioned that we were talking about, no player scored more than 20 points for the Heat in those first 3 games, which is amazing to me because they have so much talent. How did not one person score 20 points? Chalmers at 19 and 1, but it's very amazing to me that a talent like that kind of team couldn't get that kind of point production. Another thing to remember, too, LeBron James, he's been criticized game after game after game, but the person that I think that we should point the finger at is Ginobili. Where is he? Ginobili can't dribble, he can't pass, he can't score. Last game he had 5 points, he was 1 for 5 in shooting, and if they can't get him rolling in that next game or the next 3 games, the series is over. They're going to need one of the big 3 to really come out and play great. Tim Duncan will, but if Ginobili can't add something to that flavor and get him that extra, oomph, they're done.
Yeah, Ginobili, man, we need you to get off the milk carton. You gone missing here since the finals have started. Also, I think Boris Diaw gave them big minutes, 11 minutes, and he scored 9 points. So I think that was big for them as well to give them kind of a little boost there. Now, what are some of your things that you think the Spurs need to do to bounce back to get a victory there in Game 5?
I think they need to ride who's hot. Obviously they got to ride Gary Neal, Danny Green. They've been shooting really well from the 3-point line, so they need to ride who's hot. But I think the big 3, you're going to get it from Duncan. You're going to get it from Parker, at least in the first half. But Ginobili needs to put up at least 15 points out of that big 3 for them to win that game in Game 5 to extend the series. What do you think?
I think, again, they do need a big game from the big fundamental, Tim Duncan. Gary Neal and Danny Green must stay hot from the 3-point range. Also, I need another one of their role players, maybe Matt Bonner or maybe Boris Diaw can come in and give them some more minutes as well. And also, we need Tony Parker. You can't continue to turn the ball over, and when you turn it over, that lets the Heat do what they do best, and that's get out and transition. And so, what do you think about the Heat? What are some of the things that they need to do to pick up that victory there in Game 5?
I think being aggressive, getting to the free throw line. The big three play well, but you're going to need some extra production from some of the other role players. They need to play really, really aggressive and maybe even get some of those players in foul trouble. If you can get maybe one of the big three in foul trouble in that first half, that might be the difference between Game 6 or Game 7. What do you think?
For me, the big three have to continue to keep up the scoring and the leadership because, when they play well, all the rest of the role players follow their lead. Another thing about that game is Chalmers. He scored his first points since Game 2. So, he's due for a big game. He always plays big in big games. They also need to keep up that defensive intensity that they've been playing with, that championship defense, and continue to get easy buckets and get to the line. Now, for Game 5, who do you think is going to win?
Oh man, it's a tough one because you don't really know, if you're going to get the same Heat team again or if the Spurs are going to bounce back. But if I had to predict, I would say Spurs are going to find a way. I'm going to say 14 or less. They're going to get that W, and then the Heat will win the next two, after that, and then they'll win the ring in 7. I think it's going to be really tough. I think the Heat will play aggressive and play great, but I think the Spurs will find adjustments with Popovich, Hall of Fame coach. He'll find a way to kind of get them to that next game and extend the series. What do you think?
For me, before the series, I did pick the Heat in 6. So I'm gonna have to continue with that prediction that I made. I think the Heat will get this next game in Game 5. Y'all made the best player on the planet mad. LeBron, man, he's upset right now. He needs to continue to play with that aggression. And Flash, he went in the booth and came back out in his suit. So again, I'm going with the Heat in 5. And also the Heat in Game 6 to win the World Championship. Now, we want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to what we got to say. You can follow me on Twitter at MarcusHill_NWSF.
And Orion_NWSF is our hashtag on Twitter.
Also on Facebook.com/Northwest Sports Fanatics. We want to thank our sponsors on Facebook out there for sponsoring us and letting us continue to do what we do best, and that's talk sports.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that we love the support that we're getting from all our fans there, and hopefully we're going to be getting some other sponsors to help us, continue our dream to get on radio. Northwest Sports Fanatics, we're going to have another podcast here for you very shortly, and thank you very much. Northwest Sports Fanatics.